what I'm going to do is we'll see how we go for time because obviously it's been a while. Um, we'll go through the product roadmap just to get an update, and then we'll see if there's time for breakout room at the end. But we'll play it by ear. I am going to share my screen. Okay. If you haven't had a chance to update your items, please go ahead and do it now. One of the other things that Lee shared today was around setting our January goals. You can look at Lee's profile and example. I guess next week we can go through those. I think that'd be helpful for everyone to see. Yeah, okay. I guess we can get started. Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome back. We're excited to have you all back. Just a reminder, this is being recorded and I'll share it after this call. I'm sure there are a lot of eager individuals who are waiting to see what we've got planned for the year. So I guess we can just work our way down the list of launch dates and weekly updates. Bitcoin Bridge, everyone's favorite. Ganesh, do you want to give us an update, please?
Yeah, I added the pending task before the launch. We still plan to have launch this month. Major thing being like the launch should be like a decentralized launch, right? So we need to have enough walls run by external. So we'll start reaching out starting this week and try to get as many externals running the walls. And then also the contract size reduction is ongoing. Both myself and another person working on it. So we'll finalize the contract and review it with the auditing firm. That is also there. And after that, there's some launch preparation, probably some release checklist and so on needs to happen. And also on the URI, URI side, there are some pending items on the front end, and we also need to fix the sushi pools and so on. There's some minor things that we need to take care. But apart from this, I think we should be good for this month launch. Yeah.
So the launch date here still looks good?
Should be, yeah.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
So I have a question. I remember we were talking about to launch with multiple partner. I do have a friend. He's running a crypto fund and also BTC mining farm before. He reached out to me. I told him, right. So he's actually interested to become a vault. They're fund investor of like a Boring Down and a few other bridge, especially.
Exactly. We need many such investors to run these vaults. So I'll just share the document regarding like vault, how they can participate, incentive, and so on, and we can spread that out and try to attract more and more toward this.
Yeah, let me create a Telegram group because he reached to me about before the New Year. So I think let me create a group so that we can help onboard external partners, especially.
Yeah.
We are in the crypto mining business for a while.
Ganesh, would you mind adding a link to that document when it's ready inside the same item, and then we can share that. Okay. One wallet client library that's already in place. Trustless Ethereum bridge. Any updates on that, Ganesh?
Yeah, I did update there. We are resuming work on it from this week. Aaron is also going to jump in to help us with
Oh, nice.
contracts. But still, as I record there, the number of days for each of these blocking issues, we are expecting at least like around, if we don't paralyze, around a month of work at least. But we plan to paralyze. Best case scenario would be like finish everything this month, and sometime we don't want.
Oh, we lost you. We lost your audio.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Oh, lost you again.
How about now?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
What was the last thing you said, Ganesh?
Sorry about that. But yeah, as I mentioned, we'll have a better clarity on the launch date sometime later this month.
Okay, great. So yes, if you could please just update these when you know more.
Yeah.
Okay, streaming sync and fast sync. RJ, do you have an update on this?
So there's no progress on this.
Okay. Is the date? Can we update the date? Is it on testnet?
It's not on testnet yet.
Okay.
Jackie is still working on fixing the last problem before the launch. Yeah, I'll need to follow up with Jackie.
Okay. Security. Okay. One wallet. We'll leave the one wallet updates out for now. Cross-shard transactions. RJ, any progress?
Well, the mutual knowledge system has finished the design, mostly finished the design proposal. I've been working with them to give feedback. So they did a good job laying out the details for the design. I think we still need a few more round of iteration and giving them feedback about the design. I think we're getting close to like finalize the design, maybe in 1 or 2 weeks. And after that, we can start the implementation.
Got it. Okay, Chainlink is already up. Again, Apple Pay, this is a question I get a lot. This is part of One Wallet and Timeless Wallet and the Ceph Wallet. These will be one of the payment options that these wallets will have on mobile, so that you can very quickly purchase tokens. That's all being worked on right now. Polygon Bridge. Ganesh, any updates on this?
Probably. Yeah, my headphone was giving me trouble.
All good.
Yeah, there's a sub team working on this already. Right now, they'll have a bridge version integrated into Horizon, where along with Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, you can also bridge to Polygon. That is the first version, but later we want to have a trustless version to Polygon as well. But it's already work in progress. I think, yeah, we will know in a couple of weeks when we can have a launch on this.
Okay. Yeah, if you could just update the date as well, then please.
Yeah.
Timeless Wallet, yep, that's a work in progress. One Wallet, staking derivatives. This is a big one. Boris, do you mind giving us an update on this? Is Boris on the call? He is.
Right here, sir.
There you go.
Well, this whole thing is based on the thing we're doing with the UEI, right? So right now they're very tight. in the terms of the UBI right now, I'm working on the bots. The bots part is proving a little long. The whole issue with the bots is that, or the whole thing with the bot is, we need to have consistency between all the steps of the transactions, right? We cannot just let the transaction, because it can fail in many parts. So taking back a transaction is complicated. So I'm focusing heavily on the bots, and then once we have a reliable, stable bot implementation, we can start doing cross-chain API will move to that. Anything we do in a staking derivative will be based on that, right? So on this one, no big updates beyond the design based on what Leo sent me, and I hope that the next 2 more weeks, I kind of did some advance in December on the bots. I can have from DevNet to testnet on the bots and try to see if the transactions move smoothly. So far, they are it's not very stable. And once we have I have a credible strategy how to use these bots to keep tracks on the transactions across chains, yeah, I will be able to create a technical specific plan for the derivatives. So the dates, I think is a little too early. I will move it to I guess the Friday 21, January 21, once the bots, I have a more stable implementation of the bots.
Another goal for the staking derivative is to add the staking support in smart contract that will support the staking derivative. Yeah, and also the MetaMask staking, I think, is also related. With the smart contract staking, we can allow a MetaMask user to do staking instead of having to use a wallet that specifically support our staking contract, such as our Chrome extension and Math wallet. So right now, users are only limited to those wallets for staking. So with the staking smart contract support, they can use MetaMask. And for the staking smart contract support, I'll focus on it.
Yeah, that's true. I'm focusing on the DeFi part so far. I haven't seen on the rest. I was focusing on how to make.
Yeah. So for the staking smart contract support, we already have a bounty hunter that submit some code that also require some other changes. That's like we need to be able to revert the staking validator record in the state transition process. And right now they also have some code. So I need to work with them to give them feedback and basically push those code and get those code being ready for launch.
Got it. And the MetaMask staking end of January still looks reasonable?
Yeah, that's the initial timeline for end of January. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, Leo, scalable RPC endpoint. Any updates?
I just added, haven't added more details. So basically, this was based on the offsite design, the talk. So the objective is already defined. So we'll start the execution as soon as possible. There will be the high priority task.
Got it.
The execution will be started. Yeah, that's what.
Okay. Boris, again, cross-chain API. Or Ganesha.
Yeah, cross-chain APIs is as far as it can go here before the new bridge it's out. The interface is being improved a little once, and then when the bots are out, it needs to be improved. Right now, again, as I just told, the issue is that all the steps, if one of the steps fails, it's impossible for the user to know that it failed or why it fails. So I'm following the strategy that other projects are doing. So they usually rely on bots. Mostly, I'm doing what ETH Anchor is doing. So it's a similar kind of bot. So once the bots, this strategy is working, I will try to, put it on basic income and also cross-chain API. I'm trying to make it a general pub sub architecture that will be, usable to any scheme that relies on multiple authorization of the users across chains. That's basically the approach. So once those bots are up and running, it should be, a generic solution for any of these kind of flows. So yeah, I'm working on that. I guess January will be focusing on bots, and then I will figure out to integrate to both to UBI to cross chain. So that's the status right now. It's gone as far as it can go right now. But even if I did some tests in mainnet, but some transaction inevitably will fail. Probably the RPC is down that day. So if it fails, I don't have a way to keep the user informed of what exactly happened. So yeah, we need a better solution. It's not doable just using, RPC calls to the contracts. So that's we need to go to some kind of bot solution.
Okay. And then I guess related, the 20% fixed income.
Yeah.
What is this date? The end of January? What's the goal?
Yeah. So right now I can do the same steps, right? I have all the steps the user can go from one to wrap UST to UST and all the way back. But then I have the same issue. If any of the steps fails, it's impossible to know what happened. So that's actually the bots are being designed for this specific use case. So the bot is based on the Anchor bot, and that's the base one. So the first one to be updated with the bot will be the one Anchor project, not the cross-chain API, because I think this one have priority. So that's the main work for the bots disorder. So that's the state of this one. I'm working on the bots.
Got it. Thank you. Cosmos Bridge, Ganesha.
Yeah, the external team is working on this. They're currently integrating Harmony Light Client into Cosmos IBC. And overall, their milestones, they have properly defined the milestones. It's all available in the forum. Overall estimation is like a month and a half to complete the various milestones. So I think they will have a progress update sometime next week. I will update that here once they provide.
Okay, so potentially in February?
Yeah.
Okay, very nice. MetaMask staking, we already talked about. Decentralized nodes. Who wants to take this one, Leo or Jack?
So decentralization of the node basically for the to enable external validator as a leader. I think this one right now is being tabled as the leader rotation algorithm is still being researched, and we haven't started the work on this yet. So I work on the RPC as a higher priority task. So that's why it's not urgent need right now. So that's why it had to be tabled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any updates on secure resharding, RJ?
So I've been working with our research DAO on basically looking into the resharding design, and one of the member is working on the resharding design to have a more theoretic, like a guarantee of the security. Still waiting on their kind of a write-up, and we'll kind of iterate on that and finalize the design. But implementation-wise, we haven't started, so it's not the highest priority.
Okay. And 1 second finality, RJ, any updates on that?
So it's implementation-wise, it's still kind of as last update. I implemented the feature to allow the leader to progress to the next block immediately after 2/3 of the signature is collected, and the rest of the signature can be collected in the next block. That feature is still under review. Basically, we need more people to look at the code. It's a major change. But on the other side, there are other efforts that also contribute to faster block time, including increasing the transaction gas price. Right now, the gas price minimum requirement is 1 gray, which is still very small. We had the code change to increase it to 30 gray. And based on the calculation, it's still not very high cost for most of the users. And also, we already have the recommended gas price of 10 gray. So with this change, it's only a 3-time increase for the normal users. And that will greatly like deter the kind of the spam transactions that's ongoing on the network, and giving us more room to grow our block time. And on the other side, we also added, we also worked on like fixing the problem on the stake sync and the status check, so that we will have a better infrastructure on the RPC node. So even the block time is higher, we won't see much more problem, right? So it's not just a block time problem. We also need to make sure all the all the infrastructure nodes and all the explorer nodes are able to catch up and able to handle the increase the block time. So it's ongoing effort, but on the block time wise, that last feature I mentioned is being reviewed, and we need to do more testing before rollout.
Great, thank you. Okay, Jack, do you want to give us an update on Decentralized RPC, maybe the partnerships?
Yeah, of course. So we have discussions ongoing, but we've posted them officially on the talk forum. We have a goal of rolling out, at least moving closer to production, with 2 partners, namely Covalent and Chainstack, and they should be close to being done by the end of January, if not, at least have a POC in January. So very excited to have more partners on board with us. As with Pocket Networks, we already have onboarded with them. We have seen a lot of traffic coming in the last part of the year, and they also see a lot of traffic coming in. But we want to be doing more routing to them. So it'll be very interesting to see how that rollout continues to happen. We also have a new partner with QuickNode that was just also announced. It's a pretty major partnership alongside the 3 others as well. So hopefully by the end of Q2, we will have 4 partners. So QuickNode has promised launching in May, whereas the other 2 partners will be launching in January, February timeframe. Yeah, so that's for Decentralized RPC. As for our own internal RPC, we have done a lot of work in maturing out the platform. So a lot of things around DNS latency routing, health checks across the board, monitoring, global logging, forensics reporting, they're all set up in place right now. So we have a pretty good thing running. We probably will be needing to add more ways to decentralize. So that's what I think Leo is working on. So I'll partner up with Leo to make sure that we can get this to a more scalable state while the partners are onboarding.
Great. And finally, decentralized ops. Jack, can you just explain what that is and what kind of the long-term plans are?
Yeah, it's evolving now. So decentralized ops is a thing coined for onboarding 2 pizza teams to help with ops. I think what is evolving into is, for example, with the testnet, the Harmony Pinjia Ops or POPs team have a really strong proposal to help sustain or even expand and improve on the current testnet, plus introduce a new DevNet. So imagine in Ethereum, there's two testnets like Ropsten and Rinkeby. And we will have our own two areas to test with, like a DevNet and a testnet concept. So there'll be a entirely separate team, which is currently handling the testnet, and that's with the decentralized. I'm looping that into the decentralized ops part. Most importantly, working with the VDAO to make sure that all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed, and see that we get all the coverage in place. The foundation is, if I may speak on behalf of the foundation, is in full support of having a decentralized team such as the POPs team work with that.
Excellent. And I see a brand new item here in real time. Leo's working on the right emoji.
No, I think that this is also part of the bigger goal of the like a cross-shard. Like currently, we are facing the issue of the exploded state DB on our shard zero. It's more than 700 or 800 gig already, right? So with the increasing number of transactions and the fast block time, we can expect that to be increased more. So we need to start to work on the state pruning. So we had a bounty open on that. So there's some initial work on that. So in a longer term, it's a bigger optimization we need, but we can reach some like a lower hanging fruit to reduce the state and the size of the shard zero DB. Yeah, that's to reduce the pain from all the validator right now.
Yeah. Is there an ETA? What date are you going to assign to this?
I think like there's a bounty already being worked on, so we need more testing. So actually I would expect by end of January we should have it at least released on the testnet. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. I think that's everything. Any other launch product updates anyone wants to talk about that we didn't already cover? Okay. All right, let's shift focus a little bit. Lee, I'm going to put you on the spot because you're the first to complete your January milestones. Do you want to just give us an overview and just really what you're thinking for 2022?
Yeah, sounds good. So for January, everyone should just write 3 items. So 3 items, 1 sentence per item, create a link per item. And so on mine, the first one is actually launch with at least 3 top partners. So on my list is StakeDAO, which we're very close to maybe announce today or tomorrow, a campaign with them. Abra, which I know Jack is working on, and then Aave, which Giv is working on. So just coordinating the launch for those. Doesn't mean that I'm necessarily the person doing the launch themselves, but coordination and making sure that we have good PR, come out with good stories for those. Second one is actually helping some of the DAOs start. There's 4 that's on my list, and hopefully at least 5 this month. I think it's really been actually powerful to see. Some of you may have seen that we had a New Year's event in China recently. It was very good. And actually one of my annual goals is to really push decentralization as much as possible. And if people haven't followed on the forum, actually it's worth just looking at some of the proposals because they're coming from really everywhere around the world, different continents, different countries. and it's a really good problem to have. And we funded 15 grants last night, just to catch up from everything from last year, and so now we have a fresh slate. And then the last thing on my January list is to set in motion all the ETH Denver activities, obviously with COVID precautions in mind. So it's going to be, I mean, to be honest, I've never had to deal with something like this in terms of planning at the scale with like, you know, a global pandemic. But we will continue to proceed. ETH Denver is continuing with everything that they said they would do. So we asked them if they have any changes. They said no. The full plan is on. So that's our plan as well for now. Obviously, everyone has to be much more careful this time around, even going back to the office on Wednesday. But yeah, that'll be one of my big projects. With, of course, all of my projects honestly are actually, you know, there's a lot of support behind me, of course, on everything, or I'm supporting someone else to help push things through. But yeah, those are mine.
Yeah, great. We'll have more updates on events. There are a few coming up.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
One thing everyone may already know, the Stanford Blockchain Conference has been canceled, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So there actually won't be any conference that week at all, and all of our side events will be canceled because it's not practical. People won't be coming in or gathering there won't be any main event that week. So
yeah. I just saw Matt join. I'm not sure if Matt's ever been on an all hands before. Lee, did you want to introduce Matt?
Yeah,
folks
hey,
who
Matt.
haven't met him.
Hey, there you are. So yeah, Matt's joining us. I think I would say most people have met Matt, except for obviously if you're international or in another place. And so Matt's going to be helping us. Well, he's already been helping us scale with events, with ops, doing the university hackathon, which he can actually share more about after this. But really great. He's been one of Adrian's closest friends for a long time. I asked Adrian if he could find us someone who can really help scale both me and the project. And Matt's the first person that he recommended, first and only person. But welcome, Matt, and yeah, feel free to share kind of what you've been up to. And I just shared the 3 things for January, I think you heard. So feel free to share what your top 3 things are this month.
So my 3 things this month begins with the hackathon. We started the hackathon a couple of weeks ago, and we conclude mid-January with we're going to host a virtual event for all of the teams who complete a project to present in front of the core team, the Harmony ecosystem, and all of our partners who would like to join and listen in on their projects. So seeing that through to completion is my first priority. And then second priority for deliverables in January is I want to, and I'm working on it right now, is to improve the onboarding process for new partners, new contributors, new ambassadors, just anybody who is coming onto the team as we start to scale even more aggressively. I want that onboarding process to be very, very efficient and very simple, so that there's a one-stop shop for anybody who can learn everything they need to know about Harmony and all of our operations and how we execute our operations all within, an hour. So that's something I'm working on as well. And then my third is to, in addition to scaling the events and team operations, I want to help take some of the load off of our grants team. So I want to learn their process, what they look for in a successful grantee, and kind of help to just augment what they're working on.
Very good. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Sam, you just mentioned that you updated yours, so I'm assuming that means you'd like to share.
No, I'm just letting you know I'm doing work in the background here. So mine are pretty straightforward. As you all talked about at the offsite, kind of the 3 areas of ownership. are DAOs and events and community partnerships for me. And so I have deliverables in each of those categories. For the DAOs, there are two big things that I'll be delivering this month. Number one is kind of a DAO manifesto. I need to have a better name for this, but it's basically writing the how-to book for DAOs for Harmony. I've spent a lot of the holiday really thinking about and listening and reading and writing about what that should look like to kind of crystallize a lot of the stuff that we've learned over the past 6 months around DAOs. So that's been exciting. And then the other piece of the DAO tooling, the DAO responsibility is DAO tooling. So finalize this stuff with DAO House, finalize this stuff with Coordinate, and get those on chain, and also get Superfluid, also known as streaming compensation, to integrate with us. So those are the two big things. And then shortlist, I have a long list of 72 different DAO tools that I want to bring on board. And so I'm going to shortlist what the next wave is for DAO tooling. So we'll have that. And then also bringing Mikey up to speed, which is something that that Give when got another very passionate individual to help us with DAO operations. So we're excited to bring him up to speed and bring him on board. Regarding the events, Lee already mentioned two things: ETH Denver, as well as the Silicon Valley Blockchain Week, or whatever that it's going to end up being. Just executing the pieces we have around that. Regarding ETH Denver, it's really, you know, being able to understand. So I did Mobile World Congress in 2020, which was canceled like a week. And this is something that is, I mean, we're not talking the level of what we wanted to do in Denver, but it was still something on a hundreds of thousands of dollars that we were putting towards that. Rosa, you had a comment? Okay, I'll keep going. So being able to plan for the contingencies around what happens around a COVID cancellation. So Mobile World Congress, which is a huge event in Barcelona, I was able to do 2 years ago. And then, so making plans for that, but also we got approved for our budget of what we want to spend on events in 2022. And so I will be publishing what that will look like, kind of what the breakdown will be, a high level of the events that we know we want to go to, as well as some of the various different follow throughs or of some of the different backup events, plan A, plan B, plan C, regarding events for 2022. And then finally, community partnerships. So I want to be careful about talking about the actual names of these partners, because we don't want to you know, kind of get out in front of our skis. I just finished a ski vacation, so I'm thinking ski mentality. But we definitely have some really good community partnerships coming through. Some of them you guys all already know about, but also, you know, the Herd DAO, the Metagamma Delta DAO, looking at what we're doing with Raid Guild and Alchemist, and also what we're doing around NFT marketplaces. So all of those, you'll have a strategic plan all in your hands for those by the end of the month. Questions, comments, funny jokes?
Perfect, Sam. No, I just wanted to say that if needed, I know some people in the Barcelona event in the organization, especially in 4 years from now, which is their startup zone. So if needed, just pick me and I can help you. And the other thing, we have the Miami Hack Week that we are partnering and helping with 20 grants for startups, for participants going there. And that was
Yeah, that was that's definitely true. Well, I mentioned Mobile World Congress in 4 years from now initiative, because that's like, that was canceled 1 week before it's supposed to take place.
Yeah,
and this was
a disaster.
100,000 people coming to Barcelona, massive engagement. And so I was running, I was running some event planning around that.
Yeah, I think this
when
is
that
smart.
happened.
Going back to the Miami thing, we wanted to have Boris as a speaker, but Boris is involved in the Stanford Hack Week. So, Blockchain Week. So we might need someone, if possible, that would represent us, more technical, not just me. I'm gonna be there for sure. But I don't know if Gabriel maybe can do it, or whoever you think might be good for a kind of hackathon idea.
Yeah, Rosa, let's have a conversation. I have a block right now for event planning for tomorrow at
add me,
12.
please.
Do you want me to add you to that conversation?
Perfect. Yes, that's
Awesome.
my 9 p.m. So it's perfect.
No, please.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect. I'll be back home. It's good.
All right.
Just to kind of add on to what Sam was saying around DAOs, we're aware of all the work that needs to happen, right? We've had a lot of community questions around, funding DAOs, around, help, just general help with our DAOs. It's all coming. That's why we're ramping up our DAO operations, so we can make all of this smoother and kind of less painful. So just bear with us. This month we will have some good things happening on that front.
And most of this stuff will come in before the end of the month. But since we're putting this as the idea of like the monthly deliverables, the basic, just for those who are watching us instead of participating on our call, the basic takeaway is we are going to crystallize and really have very clear guidelines about what a DAO needs to do to be funded. And we're also going to decentralize that funding process. So there's not like a single point of failure or a single bottleneck where we can make sure that that the responsibility that we're turning over to these DAOs is handled in a very clear and very fluid method. So there you go.
Thanks. My 3 items are still work in progress, so I'm going to wrap that up today. But the ones that I can talk about, so the 3 areas of focus for me, this is coming from the offsite as well, is product, operations, and grants. So product is a big one. That's going to be one of my main focuses. So I'm going to be looking at all the products that currently Harmony manages, and really look at how we can accelerate decentralization of these products, be it bringing on more people to help, or to kind of create a DAO for it, or whatever that is, to make sure that these products are nurtured, maintained, and kind of we scale that way. So things like Explorer, for example, we're aware of all the ever-growing backlog of issues and feature requests. So that's one of my goals, to make sure all of those get noticed and we actually start working on those in some shape or another. And I will give you better updates next week for the other 2 items. Anyone else? Has anyone else had a chance to work on their January goals? If not, I'm going to put Daniel on the spot to talk about the Ambassador DAO.
Thanks, Skip.
Happy New Year.
Thanks a lot. No, thanks. Not too much to add here on the Ambassador DAO. I'm pretty excited for it, though. We received approval. Thank you, Sam. We have our main 3 mandates that are to be posted today. Yeah, we're excited to get going. Our target is to hold our first set of meetups this month, with an end of year goal meetup wise of 100 throughout around the world. So 100 meetups by the end of the year per month, I should mention, 100 meetups per month. Getting our moderators compensated and some guidance around online communities, as well as establishing some support for our products. So we're excited about that as well. But yeah, don't have too many updates for you on that, not yet. Hopefully on our next meeting, I'll have a little bit more for you.
Great. Jack. I know you're still waking up. Jack had a very late night. I saw a message from him at 4:30 a.m. So
Late, but pretty late.
Thanks for being here. Any updates on the grants? I know we're just kind of catching up with all the incoming requests and proposals, but we did talk about potentially putting together a new set of guidelines, and really just explaining what we're thinking for 2022 and how we handle grants.
Yeah, sure. There's a lot of activity that's still going on during the Christmas, New Year's week, and even the week before. Very pleasantly surprised, but maybe not so much because crypto never stops. What we're looking at is not a really new guideline, but working with Give, I think we're gonna have to see all the proposals that we've approved before and some that we did not, and then using those as sort of a precedence of some sort, and then raising the bar on how we review our proposals, and hopefully this gets propagated to everyone that's very interested in building on Harmony, to have a clearer guideline over time. So it's not so much like a brand new guideline. I think what Give mentioned is probably like a renewed guideline on citing specific examples and raising the bar about what's needed before some proposals are being reviewed. And then with the addition of more team members in the committee, we're now getting better able to respond in a quicker way, and more methodical as well. So, over time, you guys will hear more about it, and we'll hopefully publish this in a couple of weeks' time and see where we go from there.
Yeah, the goal really is here just to streamline the process even more, right? We get a lot of proposals, especially around like regional DAOs. Like these should be cookie cutter at this point, right? Because there is a template, and there shouldn't be any confusion around what the requirements are, what the expectations are. So by really fleshing out our guidelines and expanding on what we already have, it'll really allow us to accelerate the approval process as well, right? The review process. So that's exciting. Okay. Thanks, Jack.
So since we're talking about regional DAO, just provide some updates in China. So our committee manager, Yu Yi, and also Lee, and also with Bruce. So they organized some New Year meetup in Shenzhen area. I think Stephen, RJ, and I also recorded some short video sent to the community. And they're also gonna organize the meetup in Shanghai and Beijing as well, before the Chinese New Year. I think this is also a great opportunity for us to form some regional DAO. For example, like in China, we do have a lot of supporters from China. And yeah, that's some update.
Okay. I'll get to you in a second. Daniel, actually, I was speaking to a group of people from Australia who they're not quite ready to form a DAO or to create a proposal for it, but they're very interested in putting on events. Did we lose Daniel? No, there he is. Sorry.
No, I'm still here.
The screen just shifted. Sorry. They want to put on kind of casual meetups, Harmony meetups and events.
Yeah.
And I understand that the Ambassador DAO can potentially help here, right, to a certain extent.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Can you share how that would work?
We've received quite a bit of sorry, my mind's all over the place right now. Sorry. Yeah, I've received a number of DMs from some folks who are interested in holding meetups, and what I've been doing is forwarding them over to the governors who have a focus on the meetup events. So that's Devin, Rachel, and Sarvam. And they've held some interviews, very short, 5-minute, 10-minute, just to, you get to know us get to know you, interviews with them over video. And, if they feel that it's a good match, then they start talking to them about what our next steps are. So if there's anyone that you feel or they feel are interested in holding meetups, just please send them over. I'll get them in touch with the right people, and we'll get that conversation started. Yeah, and to just to kind of like take a step back to the Ambassador DAO, a couple things I wanted to add was they have started their weekly governor meetings just to make sure that everyone's being held accountable for their tasks, as well as their weekly focus group meetings. So the 3 folks who are doing support, 3 folks doing this and that, they're all meeting within their own little subgroups as well. And I know they're holding, or they're planning rather, to hold some Twitter spaces in the near future, similar to other DAOs, make sure that the work is transparent and that we get some community participation as well. So a couple more updates for you there. But back to what you were saying, if there's anyone who's interested, please forward them over. More than happy to talk to them.
Fantastic.
Really quickly, sorry to jump in here, Giv, but really quick question for Daniel. Do we have, and you may have mentioned this just a moment ago, but I was doing work. But do we have a guideline for a budget of these meetups that we're willing to help pay for, like pizza and beer and t-shirts, or kind of what's the idea here?
There's a bit of a breakdown that we have budget wise for events and how much we have allocated for food and drinks per head. That's on the talk forum. Although it may have been, I may have actually stripped it out just to try to condense my 10-page write-up to 5 pages. But yeah, I can share that. Off the top of my head, I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to look back at my notes.
Let's create a document on Notion and make that public so we can easily share that around.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, I really like that.
I think Lee had something about this before, because I use that as a framework. Depending on the people, we had a budget and an allocation.
Yeah, there's a line item in the events /300, which works. But what I'm talking about specifically, because there's a different thing between these regular meetups that happen on a monthly basis or even a weekly basis, and having specific one-off events, right? And so for these meetups, that's a slightly different thing that I think the funding should be being pulled out of the Ambassador DAO. And this is actually something Daniel and I have talked about a fair amount. And the way I just want to give some kudos to the Ambassador DAO. I love this formation where you have the general governors, and then you have these focus groups about focusing on each of the 3 mandates. And so you have a party of 3 working on all 3 of those. It's also something that Daniel and I discussed. So I really, really like it. So I'm excited to see how it works.
Very good. Abi, you had a question.
Well, I just wanted to share an update. It's not on product or DAOs, I think, but I think it's still important, is that we will not be doing any articles on Medium, and just for the entire team. So if anybody is penning articles or has something planned, I am in the process of still migrating the older articles from Medium to Ghost. So we are doing this basically to help with SEO. And some of the articles that have doubles, we are also going through the tech, which is the rel canonical, to fix those doubles. But going forward from January, all articles, including the newsletter, which is going to be published tonight, for December and the New Year highlights, the 2021 highlights, they're all going to be on blog, which is going to be harmony.1/blog. What I would have to do for everybody is creating accounts, individual accounts, so everybody can publish on blog natively. So I'll fix the accounts for everybody, and I'll also generate passwords, and then that way everybody can change their passwords. But I'm just sharing this update in case somebody had something planned to go out, that we will not be doing Medium anymore. We will still use Medium, but we're going to use Medium as a teaser, which will redirect them to the blog, which would have the entire article. And I think that's going to do a lot good to our SEO.
I love this update. Abi, in the meantime, if we have articles that we want to have published, do we send them directly to you and you'll post them to the blog, or do you think you'll have that individual account ready for everybody this week sometime?
I think the individual account is going to take time, at least I would say about a week or 2, because we're still going through the migration. So for now, I think it's safest to send them across to me and I can publish them. But I think in another 2 weeks, I'm very positive that we should have individual accounts for everybody.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, we have 2 minutes to go. Any other items? All right. Well, have a great week, everyone. Have a great year. Very exciting. Lots of incredible things happening, and it's going to be an incredible year. So I'm excited to be working with you all. All right, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.